Hey, what is up guys, it is Slcmof here, back again with another video. In this one, we're going to be talking about a Batman Arkham Origins Remaster being a pre-order bonus for the new Batman Arkham game. But before we get into this video, I just wanted to thank everybody for all of the support in my most recent videos. First of all, you guys have been crushing the like goal of 1,000 likes, with many of my videos getting 2,000 likes, 1.8k likes, that kind of thing. So I really appreciate it. And in this one, to compensate, we're going to set a higher like goal of 1,500 likes. So be sure to leave a thumbs up on this video if you enjoy it, and let's see if we can get it to 1,500 likes. Also, shout out to all my new members. We just launched the program recently. It's $5 a month, and you get all the great benefits you can see here on the screen. So if that's something that interests you, especially given that my live streams are going to be starting later this week. I just got my gaming PC yesterday. I'm really excited about that. So all of those membership benefits are going to be great for the live streams as well. So I'd like to shout out Potter's Games, Pretzel Day, Mushroom Snow Productions, and Bill Dog Rooney as being members. So thank you for subscribing or becoming a member. We don't call it subscribing because all of you, 67,000 of you, are subscribed, but joining the membership program, whatever you like to call it. So thank you for that as well, and I think that it's going to be absolutely great, especially once my streaming kicks off. So anyway, let's get into the content of the video for today. So Lone Wolf on Twitter, one of my subscribers, tweeted me this question to Salvage as well, and he said, I have a very good question. It's about Batman Arkham 2019 project. What if Arkham Origins will be the pre-order bonus for the game this year? And he also tweeted this to Salvage, but Salvage did a video on this a week ago, and I really did agree with Salvage's video, and he basically outlined why we will not see a Batman Arkham Origins remaster. And I understand where Salvage is coming from, because we're both YouTubers for the Batman Arkham games, and I've gotten this tweet a lot, and I know that Salvage has as well, or just comments asking, where's the Batman Arkham Origins remaster? We really want this. This is something that the community wants. And for me, I can just personally say, when Batman Return to Arkham came out, I was a little bit disappointed that Arkham Origins wasn't included, but I understood it as well, because it wasn't as critically successful nor commercially, and even just among fan fervor and love for the Batman Arkham games, Arkham City and Asylum rank among the highest. And this is not a bash to Arkham Origins. There was a huge disadvantage that that game had, and that was it came out at the very end of the last gen console cycle, which is a huge disadvantage for those games. And oddly enough, I think that this new Arkham game done by WB Montreal is going to be the same exact thing, coming out at the end of the PS4 and Xbox One life cycle. But in any case, this was a huge disadvantage for the game, and in that way, it would have made a great deal of sense to remaster it. However, they didn't for whatever reason. It's a little bit tricky to discern why, but let's get into if I think this is going to happen, because as soon as I read this comment, a light bulb went off, and it made me think that in the past, I would have told anyone there is a 0% chance we will get a remaster for Arkham Origins. It doesn't make any sense. It's not going to happen. But as a pre-order bonus, it actually makes a great deal of sense, because this has become an industry standard. We've seen Call of Duty do it, and I think that it is not out of the realm of possibility at all, okay? So, I would like to point out some of the cons to this, to thinking why this probably will not happen, okay? So, first of all, as I mentioned, people didn't even like the Arkham Asylum and Arkham City remaster, okay? So it was very controversial when it came out, and people thought that the game didn't improve the graphics that much. As I pointed out, I had several videos get over 1 million views doing graphics comparisons, and the comments are all littered with, I like the 360 and PS3 version of the game better, which is kind of bad when you have all this new technology with the new gen consoles, and people don't even think that it looks any better, okay? So, Unreal Engine 4 is notoriously more cartoony than Unreal Engine 3, and I think that that's a lot of what people were looking at. And also, a lot of people saw it as a simple port, so in other words, copy and pasting the game from Unreal Engine 3 to Unreal Engine 4, which, from my understanding, is exactly what they did, okay? And they did some things with the lighting, but that's neither here nor there. My point being is that they already tried remastering the Arkham games, and it wasn't really received that well. The game's on sale for like $5 on PSN, and people enjoy it, people have bought it, it sold well, I'm sure, but it wasn't like a huge fan success or anything, okay? So here's another huge con. we already have Arkham Origins on both PS4 and Xbox One. And let me explain. So on Xbox One, the game is backwards compatible. You can get an Xbox 360 disc, put it in your Xbox One, and play the game. So that's a huge sort of disincentive to actually remaster the game, because from WB's perspective, no one's going to even buy it because they can just get it on 360 and use it. On PS4 as well, I've played Batman Arkham Origins. How did I do this? Well, it's through this like PS Now streaming service thing. It's really quite bad, it's laggy, but it still is there. So my point being is you can still play the games on both next-gen consoles. So those are two huge disadvantages, or sort of disincentives, for WB to actually remaster the game. But there are several pros as well, and this is what leads me to believe that this is a possibility. I'm not making a prediction here, I'm just saying that it is not out of the realm of possibility, okay? So first of all, if this new Batman Arkham game is what we think it is, and that being a either direct like prequel or sequel to Arkham Origins, in other words, it's like very, very similar to the timeline or very near in proximity to Batman Arkham Origins, it would make a lot of sense because you're catching people up to speed. You're allowing them to play Arkham Origins, which they might have missed at the end of the 360 PS3 life cycle, and you allow people to get caught up, you know? So it actually makes a lot of sense in that way, especially if you allow a pre-order and you allow people to play Arkham Origins on next gen maybe a couple weeks early, okay? So another big advantage is that the game is 6 years old. It's a pretty old game, you know, and they did Arkham City Remaster right when Arkham City was about 6 years old. So in that way, it also makes a lot of sense. It's a pretty easy project to do, I think. You know, we saw with Batman Return to Arkham, they kind of just ported the game from, 360 to Xbox One, and the same for PlayStation, okay? And they kind of ported it to Unreal Engine 3, to Unreal Engine 4 from Unreal Engine 3, excuse me. So, in that way, it also makes a great deal of sense for them to do it because there's a low cost, a low barrier to entry, and another pro is that it would drive pre-orders. People would want to get their hands on that game on next gen. It's something that a small part of the fan base really wants, and when I say small, I just mean that of all the people that have played Arkham City, maybe, less than 10% have really thought actively about getting an Arkham Origins remaster. The other 90%, are kind of indifferent or whatever. They don't really care. They wouldn't buy it. But there is that small fan base of the community that largely watches my videos and Salvage's videos and people, that kind of thing, would really enjoy this, myself included, okay? So that is a huge thing to consider as well. So in summary, it is definitely possible that we could get this as a pre-order bonus. The reason that I was so negative and shot down every idea of people saying, well, maybe we could get Arkham Origins remastered later, is that, well, if they were going to do it, they would have already done it with the Batman Return to Arkham remaster. But here's the thing that's important to consider, and this is something that we know, because hindsight is 20/20. The reason that I do not believe they had an incentive to remaster Arkham Origins is because when they were doing Batman Return to Arkham, WB Games Montreal was working on a futuristic Damian Wayne Batman game, okay, that was either not in the Arkhamverse or very distant sequel to Arkham Knight, so much so that it's almost unrecognizable to the Arkham games, okay? So with that being said, there's no incentive to get people caught up to Arkham Origins because it's basically irrelevant to the new game that they were making. But what we know now is that that game was canceled, okay? And our best guess now is that what they're doing is a Batman Arkham Origins-esque game, just with the Court of Owls and on next gen, and following that line of things, okay? And knowing that that is the case, it would actually make a great deal of sense to catch people up to the events of Arkham Origins, especially if you're bringing back, let's say, Deathstroke. If you're bringing back these characters, because you get to see their first interactions in Arkham Origins, and then if this is more or less Arkham Origins 2, it makes a great deal of sense to catch people up to what happened in Batman Arkham Origins, okay? So it actually makes a lot of sense, because when Return to Arkham was coming out, they had no incentive to remaster Origins, because of what WB Games Montreal was working on at the time. Now, however, given what we believe they are working on, it actually makes a lot of sense. And to include it as a pre-order, and here's the thing too, when people would ask me, they're basically saying, well, they already did Return to Arkham, but maybe they'll do just an Origins remaster and release that as its own game. And I was like, no, that's not going to happen. But if it's not its own game, if it's a pre-order bonus, if you say you're only getting this game if you pre-order, and maybe pull a Call of Duty and put it on sale, individually 6 months later to get sales, but in the short term, being exclusive to pre-order, that would drive pre-orders as well. So it's a win-win situation for WB because it drives pre-orders, and for the fans, they get to play this game. And in playing the game, they're caught up with what occurred in WB Games Montreal's Arkhamverse, which we know is a little bit out of sync in some ways to Rocksteady's Arkham games, because the canon's a little screwy, but Rocksteady has contradicted themselves many times as well, so that's a very complicated issue that I won't delve into in this video. But anyway, just to wrap up here, this is something I can really see happening, and in the past I was very, very negative about this. I just wanted to be very clear to fans that we're not getting an Origins remaster. Like, they're not going to sell separately Arkham Origins remaster after they did Return to Arkham and intentionally decided not to remaster the game. But given those recent developments that I've talked about and the framing of the game being a pre-order bonus instead of its own separate release, I can really see this happening. Again, I'm not going to bet money on it, but I'm just here to say that it's not out of the realm of possibility. And if it's something that you want, definitely make your voice heard in the comment section below. So once again, let's try to get this video to 1,500 likes. As always, at the end credits of the video, we're going to have a flash of all the members and subscribers. If you'd like to subscribe, just check in the comment section below. You can join, become a member, $5 a month. And also, if you're on desktop, you can see the join button. Just click that. You get tons of great benefits. And I hope that you all have enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. My name is Slcmof, and I'll see you guys in the next one.